Imagine for a moment an expedition mode or a gauntlet mode where you can just skip all the trash mobs and fight the bosses you want to fight in Remnant 2. Expedition would be being able to choose one boss you want to fight and maybe you got to farm it 5 times in the wild to unlock the ability to do this on your own, just willy-nilly. Gauntlet mode would be fighting a bunch of bosses one after another, and perhaps you can change your build after each fight and it tells you what's next so you can prepare it. Because in my opinion, Remnant 2 is about finding loot, farming bosses, experiencing the worlds, right? But after you get the loot and experience the worlds, the main thing is using the builds you now have based on the loot you got to fight bosses. So have to go through all the trash mobs and not get the boss you want to fight in the worlds you're in doesn't feel the greatest. I have 330 plus hours in this game. It is so good. But I would like modes like this. Are they necessary? Maybe not. Would they be awesome? In my opinion, yes, sir, do Bob. Because I do not want to sit there and go through the entire campaign to fight Cancer. It's a literal boss mob in the game. To fight Annihilation. To fight whatever else in the game. I don't want to do that. It takes 2.5 hours, if not, probably more than that actually. That's like being really fast to fight these mobs. That's a lot of time invested to maybe fight a boss that will, in some cases, also get horrendous modifiers that I don't want to play against. Now, I will say modifiers in this game, I think there should be some sort of slider. You can be like, I want no modifiers, I get less loot. Like, you get the base loot you get right now with no modifiers, right? And then you can increase the modifiers, and maybe it's random, maybe it's not. Maybe you can pick the ones you want, and that gives you more loot based on the difficulty of the modifier you're adding. And maybe folks can add all modifiers. I don't care. And you get sick loot for it. But that's better, because modifiers in this game are a little cringe, dude. You go through the... Imagine going through the entire campaign, getting to the last boss, Annihilation. You're like, you know what? I got this sick build I've been waiting to use on the last boss in the entire game. I spent 4 hours getting here. I cannot wait to blow this dude's back out. Pause. Oh, hey, the build I have? Yeah, it gets countered by both his modifiers. What a great experience. And this is not a Remnant 2 issue per se. I mean, it's annoying it happens, but for some reason, these like games in general like modifiers, which I get the idea, it's randomness, and for some reason, they don't recognize that randomness is a good thing in games, but this kind of randomness doesn't actually add to the experience, because after a couple attempts or a couple hours or whatever, people realize this shit kind of sucks. This is not engaging. I don't like this. I just want to fight the actual fight itself. I don't need these extra layers of nonsense unless I want them, in which case, great. A little small tangent aside, I'm telling you, man, expeditions would be fantastic. The folks that say this would be a bad idea to ruin the game, have you never played Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Iceborne, freaking Monster Hunter Rise, Dauntless? There are plenty of games that do this style of expedition hunt, and they're long-lasting games. Dauntless could be better right now, but hey, man, summer 2024, new update. So I doubt it would actually ruin the game, and you still have to farm the gear. You still have to go into the missions themselves and find all the randomness that you want to put into your build to make it as good as you want, based on the Googling you do to find out where stuff is, because Lord knows you ain't find it yourself. Trust me. Been there, didn't find most anything myself. Although some things I was like, oh, that's cool, I found that. Rest of it was, all right, Google, YouTube, what's going on here? So folks would still have to play the game the way that people are saying they should play it, but I think at a certain point, maybe in my case, 330 hours, I'm tired of running past trash mobs to fight the bosses I want to fight, and in some cases, I don't even get the bosses I want because they didn't spawn. I have to redo the entire process, run through the mobs again to maybe get the boss to spawn this time, and maybe it doesn't. I'm just saying, I get called a complainer a lot, but that's a pretty good reason. That is very well broken down, right? Giving the pros. There's basically no cons whatsoever. If you think there are, leave in the comments, all right? I read comments, so I might see them and be like, oh, that makes sense. Or I'll be like, maybe back to the lab on that one there, Chief, because some people think that they shouldn't add things because they don't like them, and they can't explain why they don't like them. Oh, it takes away from the true experience. What are you saying? What are you saying, dude? You can just not deal with it. So I'm just saying, I do believe that this would be fantastic for Remnant 2. And if the devs plan doing anything like that, awesome. If not, game's still good. Highly recommend it. Game's amazing. I'll give it the high praise it deserves. The game is amazing. It's a good game. But if they plan to improve it, that's one thing or two things. The expeditions and gauntlets that I would personally add if it's not rocket science to do, because I have no idea. I don't code. Anywho, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Peace.